You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
Hey, you're listening to Adulting with Horses, the best place to be if you can't be at the barn. We are your co-hosts and equine authors, Heather Wallace and Natalie Keller-Reinert. As crazy horse girls, we don't take ourselves too seriously in the saddle or out. We celebrate the things that make us different. Join us as we talk about horses and pop culture and get a little weird in a fun way. Thank you for being a little weird with us. I missed your face. How was your vacation?
Magical, as one would expect. Not filthy and dirty like yours.
Mine was magical too, though, just in a different way. If it involved booze, gambling, and food and dancing.
No, absolutely not. Mine involved booze. Maybe more than I expected. Because we brought a bottle with us and it went down really fast. That's just travel.
Well,
with
I've met
Natalie.
you, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I had to do something with this screen. There we go.
There you go.
No, it was really, really good. We went to Disney World, Walt Disney World, as those of us in the know call it. And we stayed right next to Epcot, so we could walk in and out of the park and go to my favorite bar, which is there. And it was wonderful. It was absolutely stupendous. My parents came, my son and his girlfriend came. So it was just this whole family gathering. And it was great. I got Disney rash. Do you know what Disney rash is?
Is it an STI?
No, that you're thinking of the Villages. That's north. And the Villages, they don't understand how Disney tickets work. I was once walking into Epcot through the front entrance. So I was passing the ticket windows and I heard a cast member desperately explaining this is 3 p.m. and these people have driven down from the Villages. And the cast member is saying, no, you don't understand. If you buy a 3-day ticket, it will cost less money than a 1-day ticket that you were purchasing for 6 hours. And they were like, well, we're not coming back. They were absolutely refusing.
She's like, bitch, I'm trying to save you money.
She was almost in tears. She was like, please don't buy a 1-day ticket. It's you can't reason with these people.
So Disney Rash, what is this?
Oh, yeah. So
phenomenon?
It's this thing. Well, the first time I ever got it was actually New York City, which is really funny. It is when a whole bunch of if you're walking a lot on hot surfaces and your blood vessels specifically in your leg or in your sock line break and you get this crazy itchy rash on top of that. And it happened to me because I always wear riding breeches and boot socks all the time. And I wore ankle socks and capris to walk around, and I got all over my sock lines, my calves. I was so itchy. I was almost in tears.
So what I'm hearing is you should have worn your riding clothes to Disney World.
Yeah. My nice clothes, my good clothes I should have worn to Disney. It was crazy. I looked it up on WebMD because I'd always heard it called Disney Rash anyway. So I Googled it and sure enough, that's what they call it.
I've never heard of, and I grew up.
It has a real name, but that's what people call it.
That's the name. I grew up going, so I'm a Southern California baby. Well, I'm from Northern California, but my family was from Southern California. So we went to Walt Disneyland.
It's just Disneyland. There's no Walt.
Yeah. Whatever. And then, I've been to the Florida Walt Disney World a number of times.
Mm-hmm.
I've never gotten around. I thought I was picturing a rash on your inner thighs from walking and chafing because,
I would never allow my skin to touch, first of all. Oh my God, what a mistake that would be. No, it's literally where your skin's used to having support and then all of a sudden it doesn't have any. So people get it when they come from up north because they've been wearing clothes all the time. Yeah. And then they break all those blood vessels. So that was itchy. My crotch was fine. I didn't have any issues there.
I was worried about your vagina. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I was sharing a room with my son and his girlfriend, so there wasn't much room for a sexy time. My screen is making me crazy today.
That's okay.
Yeah. I know I look really tired today.
What you
And
look like is you look like you're about to be on like a hostage video and they're like shining the light on you to interrogate you, and then like
it's just
then
the
they're not.
beautiful outdoors,
It's just
as you can
the
see.
clouds kind of doing that to you.
Yeah, no, it's literally that I never work in the same place from one day to the next. And
really don't.
the daylight keeps changing because the house faces southwest. And so like the lighting in the house changes every week. Like every single week it's different.
So I'm recording this in my basement,
Yes.
where I have, it's like a cave, so I can adjust the lighting as needed. So I have like just like a ring light on, and I just leave it in the same place.
If I hadn't been struggling so hard with everything else, I
With
would have
all of your technology.
I would have gotten my ring light, but it's in my bedroom and I'm not
Too far of a walk.
It's too far. There was struggle happening. Nothing was working. And I can't. I don't, that doesn't, he's got the light in here on Google Home, so turning it doesn't turn it on. I can't.
It sounds like too much effort. Well, coming back from vacation, honestly, it's like so much work. Like it's really hard to come back from vacation sometimes.
It really is. And so what I did was I stayed on vacation and didn't do anything.
You bitch.
So I've been on like a 2-week
right
vacation. It's been like 2 weeks since I've done some marketing this week, but I haven't written really in 2 weeks. And then this morning I started working on like a sort of an enrichment project just to get my brain in the right place. But yeah, I haven't been working. I'm finally taking a break.
Well, that's good. I'm waiting for my editor to get back to me about book 2, and I'm like, at this point, I'm like biting my nails, cringing, and I'm hesitant to start, to keep going on book 3 because I want to know what the feedback is on book 2. So I'm like in this weird place. But I will tell you, I don't know if you're gonna be proud of me or not. So went to Las Vegas. Right. I'm proud of me. I went to Las Vegas with 14 of my friends. Okay, people I've known for over 2 decades, but they're people I like.
Yeah.
They're people I like, and they're people that have known me my whole life. Like half my life, and approve of me or, are used to the shenanigans. So like I was free to let the feral flag fly.
That's really great.
Yeah. And it was great. And so because I was free to be feral, I was actually pretty not. Like I was pretty calm. I just want to know I can be, wild if I need to be.
Right.
And so like I stayed with a girlfriend of mine who used to be my roommate for years, and like we lived together in New York City. We haven't seen each other in over 2 years. So that was super fun. And I only drank a little bit because I had to get blood work done. But we stayed up clubbing until like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was up 24 hours because of travel. So like we were there Friday night, and then Saturday night we went to like a hip hop club. We did all the things. And this is where you're going to be proud of me, or not proud. I can't tell. I didn't bring my computer. Like,
I didn't even. Fun.
I know, like I didn't bring it for the flight because usually, I like to work on the flights when I'm uninterrupted. Didn't bring it. All I did on the flight was watch movies and read books. It was fucking awesome.
I didn't bring mine either, and I always bring my laptop everywhere. And I love that we went on this like dual personality vacation together.
We both went to the most fun places on earth.
Right. And we actually left our work behind. I'm
proud of us.
Neither of us ever do that. So that is really, really cool.
It is cool. And I will say so Mondays are usually my crazier days. My Monday morning, the barn I'm at, they had to reschedule. So I got to sleep in on Monday, and I got to recover a little bit because, I didn't sleep much for 24 or 48 hours. So it wasn't a vacation, and I'm still running off to the next thing. But it was glorious. It was just so nice.
We're semi-refreshed in some ways.
Yeah. I mean, no, I wouldn't say
not physically. Not physically, maybe, but
maybe emotionally for me.
Emotionally, yeah.
I got to hang out with all my crazy friends that I missed so much, and
do a little reset.
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes it's just nice to be around people who've known you for so long and that just let you be you and appreciate you for who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You don't always necessarily feel like you get that with your kids.
No, there's not a lot of appreciation going on most of the time.
And they're usually like, there's some eye rolls and like, Mom, you're so funny, like sarcasm or, things like that. I mean, and I know they love me, but they're teenagers. So like they are brutal in their opinions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, teenage girls. Ooh, it's like people I wouldn't associate with, and you have to have them in your house all the time.
I feel like I have my own entourage, and I didn't even want to be like, I didn't want to be Beyonce, and yet I've got like my own group of people hanging about,
Speaking of Beyonce, should we address the Beyonce question?
I feel like we might because it's apparently in my head. What the fuck? First, let's start with the song and be like,
I don't know anything about the song, and I'm not going down that route.
She's going like country song? Like, I feel like she totally sold out.
No, I think that's cool. I think country really needs something. Anything. What a nightmare. Because I've read crazy things about country music doesn't play women, or like some stations are only allowed to play 3 female singers an hour and stuff like that. Like, it's not a good industry for women. So if she wants to take that on and put on the gloves,
well, my favorite is that like the demographic is not she's got a different demographic, so it would be like me, right, venturing into romance for the first time. That's not my demographic, right? Like, I'm just starting out, but she's coming in hot, and all the country music fans are like making fun of her on TikTok, but then dancing to her song. So I'm like,
yeah, I mean, maybe sometimes you shouldn't cast stones. Should country music fans be making fun of anyone? I know we have so many country music fans listening, and y'all, listen, indie folk is where it is at.
No, but listen, I grew up on country. Like, my dad's from the Midwest. My whole family's from the center of is that on purpose? My whole family's from the center of
I didn't hear it.
Oh, your microphone just went. It was like a sound.
Anyway. What is with my equipment today? This is insane.
It was really funny.
There's no sound here.
That's so funny. Well, maybe it won't even pull up on the thing. But no, so
everyone listen for the ding.
I grew up on Garth Brooks. I grew up on country music because that's what my dad listened to. So I'm not knocking. I like country music. Miranda Lambert, I've seen like 4 times. I've seen a whole bunch of country music concerts. I love it. It's not my go-to, but I can jam out to it. Like, I like it. But yeah, Beyonce is country. It's not a vibe. And like that AI photo completely just shows that she's not in it because she likes the horses or the life, or like it is clearly a cultural appropriation.
Well, she looked very confident in her like cutaway pants, so I respect that. And I have ridden
that's Photoshop.
In chaps. She's still wearing clothing.
Okay,
like I have ridden in shorts and chaps that produce that exact effect, where your upper thigh is bared.
No, I get it, but she's sitting on the saddle sideways / backwards.
I was only concerned about her boot heel being in the stirrup. That terrified me.
She's not really on the horse, Natalie.
Well, that's why I was really glad that she's not really on the horse, because otherwise I would be like so concerned for her well-being. Like, who was watching out for her? Because
clearly no one, not even her publicist.
Yeah, like a wrangler or somebody they should be fired if that were real at all. And then the horse, the tranter horse. What's really funny to me, here's what I don't understand, is like people are getting fooled by AI all of the time.
Right.
And at this point, you don't have to Photoshop something physically. You can tell Photoshop, and it's not easy. I've done it. It's not really fun or worth your time, but you can tell Photoshop, like, hey, make me this, and they're running commercials like that where you're like, type in, make a jaguar, and it makes a jaguar. It's not that easy. Trust me. But AI universally cannot do a bit. It does it. Every single AI horse in the world, they're like, maybe the computer goes, maybe the piece on the nose goes through a metal ring that's somehow near their teeth, it can't do it. And so just that's all you need right now. And it's weird when it's
Just
been
look at the mouth.
improving. It cannot figure out what bits and nosebands are. It's just like
Well, they probably
beyond.
think it's like a medieval torture device.
Like, come on, computer, catch up. It's like, no, I'm so sorry, I don't get it. That's what's gonna break down AI is bits and bridles. Like, it's just gonna overheat. Steam's gonna come out.
Does
the
not
AI,
compute.
Yeah, the AI will just die. That will be the end of the AI.
Well, then we can take credit for taking them down, you know? So there
horses, you know, we civilization was created on the backs of horses, and horses shall continue to carry us into the future gloriously,
but not
without robots.
Side saddle and a Western ranch saddle.
Look, like I said, she looked very confident. Love that her hair matched the horse. Good for her, I say. I would just encourage better art direction. That's my only consideration.
That's my kind of thing. Is like, okay, so I've never met her personally, although I do know people who I'm very close to. She's a very nice person, I'm told.
I'm sure.
She has billions of dollars, right? Hire a better fucking team. Like, someone is leading you down the wrong path. Like, yes, your song is very popular right now. It is catchy, okay? It's like, I wouldn't say there's any talent there, but like, it's catchy. But like, the artistry of that photograph, whoever had a hand in it should be fucking fired. It's a joke.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. And I saw a couple pictures of her wearing like saloon attire and like leaning over a pool table, and those looked great. I was like,
well, she's hot. She is hot.
Yeah.
Like, use that.
Tremendously so. Like, she looked very good as like an old West saloon girl. That was a great look. Why not put that out? I don't know. The horse thing is the cover of something.
Well, also, like, I don't
even know what it's for.
If you're scared of horses or you don't want to interact with a horse, you don't know how to ride, that's fine.
But doesn't
on
she
the
have
ground.
Horses?
You can use a horse as a prop. Does she? She lives in New York City. Where does she get a horse?
Well, I mean, she probably has 80 properties.
She's from Atlanta. Like, I don't.
So is Karen McGoldrick. She has horses.
Yeah. Okay. Well, to be fair, so like, I want to let's Google. Does Beyonce own horses? I'm going to Google this now.
I feel
you keep
like
hitting your microphone
because it is making me angry. I really thought Beyonce had horses. I'm not saying
I'm Googling this right now.
Okay,
we're gonna see.
Everybody, we're Googling this. This information is coming to you directly from the internet, which is very trustworthy and should always be believed. Okay.
Yeah, always. So W Magazine and Equestrian Living have both wrote articles about her as of June and July 2022. So this is older. But apparently, according to them, that she has no horses and does not ride, but she loves them and sees them as a symbol of her hometown of Houston.
Why did Equestrian Living feel the need to write that?
Well, I could do a deep dive, but also I'm just going to make a note for anybody out there. I have family in Houston. Houston's not exactly a horsey area. Like, there are horses, but it's not like one would think of if you're going to think, except for the rodeo. Right? Mm-hmm. You don't think, like, it's
clearly she's into the rodeo. I mean, look at her. She's trick riding.
I mean, there's a picture of her in Harper's Bazaar in 2021 with her hugging a horse. This would be a better cover. I'm holding it up. This would be a better cover for her album.
That's really cute.
It's gorgeous.
She's hugging that
with
horse.
With the Frisian. You know, there's a picture of her actually riding. Big difference.
I think I've seen that before. Yeah, she looks like she looks very capable.
She looks like a gorgeous model. This is from
the fact of the matter is, as soon as you
see, these are great.
That horse is ugly, but as soon as you involve horses in any kind of marketing, you unleash an absolute cavalcade of abuse because we just can't cope. We have no coping mechanisms whatsoever as horse people. We just lose our minds about everything.
And there's no artistry. Like, you're clearly like, and I get it. Like, she was being artistic with her cover. Bitch, you're sitting wrong in your saddle. Like, you're not even in it. Like, that is a danger. And I'm sorry,
Maybe
I take it too literally.
Metaphor.
Well, it might be, but the horse people are just rocked by it.
That's the problem. It's rocking the horse world. The people whose opinions probably aren't that important to Beyonce because
little people.
Well, yeah, and there's no changing horse. Nobody's like, nobody except for people like you and me, the idiots of the world who want to write for horse people, are like, we need to make sure the horse people are appeased. Nobody else cares. They're
Well,
like,
okay.
avoid.
So, like, all of this is getting lost. Like, I mean, okay, I'm going to just say, for a marketing standpoint, she's releasing an entire, country album. Great. But maybe her marketing team was posting this because she knew it would light people up and get
Sure.
people talking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's the case, then bravo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the song's viral on TikTok. Apparently the horse is a real horse. It's not an AI horse. It's a real horse named Chardonnay.
Yeah, I'm not in love with the name of the horse.
Fuck, right? And then, and
it sounds like the guy from forget it. I can't remember the name of the show. What's the show? Will and Grace. It sounds like the guy from Will and Grace named the horse. My horse's name is Chardonnay. Like, shut up. Come on. Name the horse Bill. Give the horse a real name.
Yeah. Bob. Come on, Bob. Let's go. You know.
Yeah, like Jane
she did
Smiley's
name her daughter
horse.
Blue Ivy, so, like artistic creativity, I guess.
Yeah.
No comment.
I know.
But I will say, so yes. So it's, as someone who rides, like, I'm finding it very difficult to see her, like, posing sideways with her knees like that in what's clearly, like, a very unnatural position. Like, for me, that's it. Like, everything else you could do, you could wear whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
The way she's sitting / not sitting, I'm fixated on it.
Yeah, it is odd. It is odd. It would have been really cool. They could have done a really cool one with a Western side saddle where she could have looked really like she was digging into that archetypal strong frontier woman. I don't know.
What it gives to me and emotes is like Black Cowgirl Barbie. Because, like, her legs are posed in that awkward position. You know what I mean? So, like, is that what she's going for?
I hadn't thought about the legs being posed like a doll's, but I do see what you're saying now.
That's kind of what I'm wondering. And I mean, maybe most of us are just, again, too literal.
Way too literal.
Right? Like, horse people are like, we're dialing in here.
We have big problems. It's such an unnatural way to sit. They had to be positioned that way.
Right.
That it does make one think. That's very
what
interesting.
I'm wondering if that was like the purpose. And if so, it makes more sense. I mean, it still pisses me off. But again, when you're in marketing, right? Like, sometimes you want to piss people off because it gets them talking. And so
there's no other way Beyonce would have been brought up on this
very
important podcast, this cultural zeitgeist podcast.
She should be quoting us, by the way, Beyonce, if you're listening.
I really hope she doesn't hear this.
Anyhow. Oh, no, listen, I like her.
A little aggressive.
I mean, I don't love her music necessarily. Some of it I like, but I'm not a hater. Like, I don't hate Beyonce. I'm just thinking this is a very interesting, like, choice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the country, even just venturing into country music. She's done the opposite of Taylor Swift. She's gone the different way. Like, Taylor started really cool. in country and then moved
I like
to pop.
Musicians who say, you know what, I transcend genre and I can do whatever I want. I have a lot of respect for that.
Yeah. Well, good for her. Like, way to take over the world, But
yeah, somebody's got to do it.
It's just an interesting. It's some interesting choices. So I'm going to be keeping a closer eye on it, I think. But yeah,
segue sound.
Well,
I don't know what we were going to talk about. No, I was trying to think of what I was going to say before I brought up Beyonce by accident.
I know what we're going to bring up, but I wanted to show you my surprise before we do.
Oh, surprise! Surprise!
Okay. I was cleaning out my garage and I found Equestrians Against Normalcy. So after our cruise, I went and I was like, oh, maybe I don't know where my deck is that I never opened, by the way. Let me go check it out. And do you know how much these fuckers cost? $35 per deck.
Well, there's a lot of paper there. Yeah, it's a lot. Wasn't it a Kickstarter? I think it was. It's
a Kickstarter. It's like made to order, so they don't do direct sales anymore. It's only from like the person, the game hub that makes it or whatever. Oh. And it's like 2 decks. So I thought it might be fun if we like pulled out one and then just did a really quick.
Okay. I don't know how this is going to work, but okay.
Well, I don't know. Like, I just what comes to mind. Maybe this is appropriate. I just pulled a random one. I don't know what that is other than Jesus Christ, Heather. I don't know what that is other than horrible.
Oh. Oh, so I'm supposed to come up with something we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
A listing on English Tack Exchange for 35 different matchy outfits because I'm very concerned about your mental health. Why do you have those?
No comment.
I saw a post recently where I was like, oh no, you need therapy. You have a shopping addiction. Like, you should not have all of that. It's bad.
Oh, yours is funnier than mine because I was going to say shedding season because I can't get the hair out of my nose, mouth, and eyes. So, like, it's just horrible. It's just horrible right now.
I was grooming yesterday. I was like, Ben, you have been shedding since January 1st. What's going on, bud? When does this end?
It never ends. And,
no.
Well, it ends when he gets to his summer coat, and then he immediately starts building his winter coat. But, like, I, like, sneezed and, like, hair came out the other day.
Yeah.
I got in my car, and I look at the side, and there was a patch of hair that it came off my jacket, and it's just sitting... and it's like I can't get rid of it. It's everywhere. So, like, that's why my hair is up because I'm pretty sure I have, like, red and gray hair all in it.
Those are my highlights. Red and gray. It looks really nice. Yeah.
I can make hair jewelry with this situation.
Oh my God. I have to, Manny looks ridiculous because I clipped him a couple months ago. And he has grown long hairs through the clip job. So I can't quite explain. He looks sort of like a sea anemone now. Like, he's got like guard hairs. Coat.
He's like a terrier.
Yeah. It's really unpleasant. So, but it got cold all of a sudden here. It was like 36 degrees yesterday morning, which is super uncool because my garden is growing.
Right.
But luckily we didn't get any frost. My garden is going insane. It's like, don't hurt my vegetables. Ridiculous cold snap of doom. Ben had to wear a sheet and he was like, oh my God, like, you and me both, buddy. So
I know. I get it. We're considering clipping the new pony, but every time we consider doing it, the temperature drops. So.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's never been blanketed, so I don't want to do that to him.
Oh no, that's an adventure.
First blanket. I also don't love blanketing them, like, to be honest.
Yeah, so. Yeah. I once blanketed a 3-year-old I'd bought who apparently had never had a blanket. And boy, she got much taller than I had remembered her right before she vanished down the road. I was like, oh, I guess she's never had a blanket on. Didn't really see that coming.
But you're 3.
I was like, she's from the track. It was really weird.
Yeah, you would think she'd be used to at least a stable blanket or something. You know?
No, she lost her fucking moms.
That is, yeah. And some of them, I have a couple clients that, like, they get staticky. And so I have to take dryer sheets and I have to wipe them down before I try to take the blanket off. Otherwise, they go berserk. Yeah. It's usually the grays.
Had that once or twice this winter where we've had crazy low humidity and everything crackles. And Ben's tail sticks out, you know, because he's swishing at flies. Like, oh, and then that's really bad for shedding because that's when the hair just clings to your arm. Ugh.
Yeah, I know exactly what that is. So, see, my thing is horrible.
But it's caterpillar season here now.
Oh, you know, you can't talk to me about. We talked about this last year, and I had nightmares for weeks. Like, we're gonna move on to our topic of the day. I'm just gonna right there, just shut you down. Okay. It's that in spider season. I just, I'm gonna. So we were talking about books, and it's funny you mentioned, like, you put out a Facebook post about, you know, what book would you like to visit, like, if you were could go inside of a book, and I thought that was really funny because I actually read a book, and it was a cozy, witchy mystery, right? As is my usual vibe. And her job was a witchy librarian who magicked people into books. And so I thought, isn't that fucking weird? Yeah, I just finished the book while I was in Vegas. It was weird.
I've never heard of that book. That's an amazing concept. And
Which you happen to think of too.
I just was just like, I need to post some stuff on Facebook. And I typed that. And I don't even know what happened to the image because it's supposed to have horses on it and they're gone.
Yeah,
I don't know if anybody noticed. I don't know where they went. Somewhere between posting and scheduling, they vanished. But yeah, it's always a good question, right? I like how many people said the Shire, because the Shire is that mythical Irish/English countryside that I think as horse girls, a lot of us are just drawn to instantaneously. Like, yes, I wish to live amidst rolling fields and chattering creeks and
pastoral.
Yeah, exactly. Just that fake village life that we all kind of really want deep down. Yeah, that was really good. That
I
was
was
why.
probably the only one who said Jane Austen.
Yeah.
Because I'm a nerd.
Maybe because there's so many Jane Austen movies now that sort of portray the dirty side of the Regency. And I mean the literal dirt.
Right.
Where you're like, oh, everything was very uncomfortable. You know, like the carriage scenes where they're trying to have a conversation and they're being jolted, like
bounced everywhere. Well, that's why I said visit. Like, I would like to visit. I don't want to live there in a world that obviously women have no control or say. But I would like to meet Mr. Darcy, thank you. And I would like to visit Northanger Abbey. And I would like to, I feel like I could be friends with Jane.
Yeah.
And Anne from Persuasion. Like, it would be cool to visit, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're wrong about that. I had started watching, there was a show called, I want to say it was called Austen Land.
Oh, the movie. Yes.
Yeah, it was something, I don't know, because I started watching it and then I stopped because the woman who had been like transported to Jane Austen time was so dumb. They were going to a party and she offered her on lipstick. I was like, why would you offer her on lipstick, you idiot? Of course they are not going to put lipstick on. Like, it didn't make, she's like, do you want any lippy? Like, no, they don't want any lippy, you freak. I got mad and turned it off. That didn't seem like an accurate representation of what a Jane Austen fan would do if she was transported to Jane Austen times. Like, so I think we're talking about
two different things, because there is a movie called Austen Land.
Yeah, there's something else too.
There's a girl who pays for this all expenses, like inclusive, like where you're stepping back into time and interacting with the actors. And then, but yes, she is kind of clueless for someone who's read a lot of books, right? Including the things she wears. And so anyway, but I adore the movie, so I own it and I've watched it 1,000 times. So don't get me wrong, it's a great movie, but yeah, it's kind of silly. Suspension of disbelief.
No.
What I want to know is what you said you had a steamy book that you wanted to be part of. And there was a lot of steamy X's in there. And I just want to know, like, exactly which book are we talking about?
It was a very steamy situation. Basically, I think it's a book I've talked about on here before when we're talking about embarrassing moments. And it is Hellion by Bertree Small. And in this book, a woman is kidnapped by a sorcerer and imprisoned in his castle of wonders and pleasures. But plot twist, her fiance from back home comes after her and is also ensorcelled. So it's the three of them in this castle.
Okay. Playing little mind games, little games.
I would give that a try for, an afternoon before I'm like, I need to go home. This has been fun, but I'm really freaked out. I need to go home. That's how long I see that lasting.
Well, that's why it's called a fantasy. Okay, because they're meant to stay fantasies. Usually when people try them out, they realize it is not what they had planned.
Yeah. That's the thing about, people want to go into fantasy novels, but I think the tidiest one that you're offered is The Shire, Not at War. You know what I mean? Where everything is done so it's just a tidy place. You don't get the feeling there's a lot of excess dirt. The roads aren't that bumpy. Like, it's fine. Everything's fine, and we're gonna have pie. I get it. Because I thought of Narnia, and specifically like The Horse and His Boy is such a good story full of magic and talking animals. But there's some moments, where they're like fleeing from the scary Cowler men and stuff like that.
I would love talking animals. That would be a wonderful, wonderful thing. Do you remember the Golden Compass?
Oh yeah, very into that.
Right. Like I think when that came out, I was watching all the movies and like I'd read the books and I was just like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like
Mm-hmm.
but
To have your animal familiar, so
right.
wonderful. What a
I always
wonderful
wanted
thing
a
that would
familiar.
be. Oh my God, it'd be so great.
I always wanted a familiar. And obviously they wouldn't talk for real. It'd be like more telepathy, obviously. Like
Yeah.
but
But the cool thing about the familiars and that is the way that they facilitated communication when the humans weren't communicating, their familiars could either give them away or talk amongst themselves. So like that, like they had their own, it was like sending your spirit out to have its own like conversations and to spy on people and things like that. Just so clever. I love those books. I never got into any of the adaptations.
oh, they were terrible.
I never get into any adaptations. So
Yeah. No, the movies definitely didn't do the books justice. The books were better. But I thought that was like a childish wonderment that, I would go into any of the cozy mysteries. Like I would love to just sit and kind of play detective and, do anything like that. But so if I had like a steamy one though, now this is my like secret book that I never tell anybody I've ever read. And there's like I think it's a trilogy. But did you ever read anything by Anne Rice, her erotica?
I haven't, but I've always wanted to.
So she is like straight up dirty. Like it is
Right.
foul porn. Like it is there.
This is the
like
Sleeping Beauty trilogy.
Claiming of Sleeping Beauty and all that. And so I read that and I was like, whoo, lady, this is, and it starts off a little bit, wrong. Sleeping Beauty was like 14. Like, you know what I mean? So suspension of disbelief. But there's a lot of like her training to be a submissive, and then there's dominance and submissives in it, and there's so much creativity in there, and there's a lot of like threesomes, and then it's inventive. And I tell you though, if it is interesting, like I really enjoyed it.
That it's got to be good because even when I worked at Barnes and Noble in the 90s, they were always on the shelf and they were always getting sold. You don't keep backlist in a bookstore unless it's selling a few copies a month. And it was always going out the door.
Well, I must have heard about it somewhere, but like, where people are like, oh, 50 Shades of Grey is straight porn. No, that is not, that is tame compared to Anne Rice's Claiming of Sleeping Beauty and the subsequent books. And they get worse. Like they get dirtier. There's more like, I mean, and it's all super fun, but there was like a harem in one, and there's like, so she's kind of addressing like so many different kinks and throughout the whole series. Like if there's something you like, it's probably in there.
A common thread here, Beyonce doesn't stick to genre. There are expectations of Beyonce, and she said, no, I'm going to sit sideways on a horse and screw all of you. Yeah. Anne Rice, they were like, all you know about is vampires. She's like, no, I can also completely tear up a fairy tale and make it the filthiest thing you've ever heard of. Elegantly. And cross genre, baby. Dude, don't be afraid.
Yeah, step outside your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Speaking of comfort zone, may I seg into something? This guy show jumping his horse without a bridle at WEC.
Awesome.
Oh my God, I was watching it last night and I said, this is what I should be doing with my life. And my husband's like, instead of writing? No. As a horsewoman. Obviously, I shouldn't drop everything and ride horses bridleless. But I think he had, I was looking at it on my phone, so I couldn't see it really clearly, but I think he had a bridle on the horse's head for like conventions, probably for requirements for the
But he wasn't using it? Yeah,
no,
it's illegal not to.
He was using the neck rope. And he did a 1.2 meter class.
Was that Brendan Wise?
I don't know.
Because somebody was talking about him, I guess, on Facebook today. So I was just curious if maybe our
I think it's the
algorithms
same
were
person
showing
they
the
were
same
talking about in
things.
the auditors group.
Okay, that's who I was wondering,
Yeah.
the guy who's at Equine Affair or whatnot.
Mhm.
Yeah, because you have to have a bit and you have to have, a certain bridle to be legal. But interesting that he had it and didn't use it because that's a great loophole.
Right? So clever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need
And
to learn how to do that.
that sounds like, well, that sounds like a lot of trust, but that sounds like Jeremy Reynolds, who rode the Tevis Cup. Now, that's like his backyard trail system. Like he
Mhm.
lives in Auburn and they ride this, and he's won multiple times. He rode it with a neck rope this last time and won. So 24 hours, 100 miles on a horse with no bridle.
It's really it's the balancing work for me, and I'm sure that
Mhm.
that's involved as well but I feel like it's a little easier to do on a trail
I don't know.
than
These trails are pretty narrow, and people have had to get helicoptered off because if the horse comes off the trail, you're in a canyon. Like, it is dangerous as fuck.
don't the
And you're
horses
doing it at
I
night.
thought you like relied on the horse to stay on the trail. Like they're not
Sometimes, but there's like switchbacks. There's like some people every year get injured, or there's been deaths. I mean, I'm not saying it's not like an egregious amount considering, but you're in the middle of the Sierra Nevada mountains and you're riding overnight. You're only allowed to have like a little headlight harness or like a LED light or something like that.
Well, it seems like a waste, and you don't see anything.
You're not supposed to see anything anyway. It's 24 hours to make it 100 miles like they did, I guess, forever ago. You're doing like the same trail as Pioneers did or something like that. But
They didn't go
it's
all
an
night.
amazing event. It's an amazing event. I did crew for it. I fell asleep in my car waiting for people to
Oh my
arrive.
God.
But yeah, but he did it. And the thing is, it's like it's a dangerous event. Show jumping is dangerous, and you're doing that without any kind of control of the front end of the body.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Yeah. That's what I'm just at a loss. I'd have to take lessons. I just have no idea.
Well, my guess. So a lot of horses brace when you use the rein, right? And so the first thing I learned with Delight was how to get him to like soften and flex when there was a little pressure from the rein, right? And then I taught him to neck rein. So he was an English horse, rice horse, and then I would learn, and I would just the pressure on the neck with one hand, I would get him so he would move off of that and he would be more soft, right? So he would soften at the contact. And then, so I feel like, especially with him, because he was always so balanced, if I just put a neck rope on him and neck rein that, he was always on the buckle anyway. He didn't need contact for me to like balance him out. Ferris, I think we'd both end up on our face because he's, he needs me to hold him sometimes. And we have a contact, but it's loose contact, right? Like, so
that's yesterday I was working on Lauren Sprizer's half halt lesson in Ride IQ, and she was talking about doing it, through your core in your seat and not with your hand. And so I was working on that. And one thing that's really funny, Lauren says that she understands that, has been told that these are the same muscles that are used to bear down in labor, in childbearing. And Lauren, I don't know how anybody remembers that unless they have a lot of children, because, we're equipped with that brain eraser so that we won't remember giving birth. I definitely don't know how I did it. I have no idea. It happened. It's over. That does not help me do half halts.
Moving on. Well, maybe she means that lower core, like that root.
Yeah. She sort of, the best part of the explanation was muscles starting right below your bra strap. And I'm like, got it. That's a good reference point. And I was able to do these really nice half halts. I could feel them at the walk, listening to her explanation. And then you go into the trot, and I'm like, well, shit, I'm rising trot. And what the hell am I supposed to do this? The second I sit, I got really perplexed and I quit. Sometimes you need the hand, and I guess, that's a saying. Sometimes you need the hand.
Speaking of erotica.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I do like sitting the trot, but I don't always know, it's the right thing to do. And then in that case I wasn't. So it's like just one of those 10-year long learning processes now where I think about the half halt every single day until I burst into tears. And then eventually I'm like, oh, I'm doing it properly now,
Well, I mean, I
like
finally
everything else.
mastered the leg. Like I now can keep a stable leg. I'm
Mm,
46 years old. It's happened. Um, so I'm trying to maintain that because, if you don't use it, you lose it.
yeah.
And now my daughter is riding this pony who doesn't know. He just plows forward. He's the Energizer Bunny. So the first couple times she rode him, she was like, I've never been so sore in my upper body. Like she has to use her whole body
Oh, yeah.
to half halt him and then let go because he just doesn't, he's not subtle. Like he's a freight train.
Yeah.
So he'll run through her hands. So she has to use her core and her shoulders. So my goal would be, one of the things I'm going to do is me and the trainer are going to get on and teach him to be a little softer. So maybe I'll check out that half halt lesson and use that to save my arms because,
Yeah.
you know,
That and halting and walking corners, like doing a square around like half of the arena and trotting. You're trotting and then halting a few feet before the corner, walking the corner, trotting again, and just doing that. That was really helpful for me with the freight train situation as well. Like, just I feel like I've progressed through all these different levels of, hey, I need you to pay attention to me before we can do some work. Like it's just been
that's
level after
good.
level after level of that. And yeah, now I'm adding on this like core half halt as without touching his face at all.
That's super awesome.
Yeah, and it layers on, it's a year's worth of work, but I do see a difference.
Well, I'm gonna go back then and check that out because he is so predictable. What he does is he drops his shoulder on the corner and then he gets faster. So
Oh
the
yeah.
halts into the corner and then
Mhm.
walking that will teach him to actually be more balanced and to be patient.
It's a great exercise, and I'll find it for you on Ride IQ. And I
Yeah,
think
send it to me.
I think it's one of Jennifer Carter's. It's very simple, and I was able to just adapt it into my regular routine, and I do it like once a week. I'll probably do it today now that I'm thinking about it.
Well, yeah, no, maybe I'll do that with Ferris too. I'm
Mhm.
not gonna ride over the weekend. I have to work, unfortunately, but next week I should be able to ride a couple times. And the following weekend, I do want to get on the pony and school him a little bit because my daughter does a really great job, but she's also 13, and that's a
Yeah.
little different than having an adult ride
Mhm.
and kind of give him the tools that so they can meet in the middle.
Right.
But
We have the
so
tools, not the time. The kids have the
right,
time and the guts.
but not the tools.
There's not the tools. There's nothing in the middle there.
Nope, nope.
Yeah, I can't ride this weekend either because I have an expo at WEC.
I
So I'll
know.
be at World
I'm
Equestrian
jelly.
Center.
It'll
Yeah.
be fun. I wish I could have come. I know you invited me, but I got a like dog show season starting again. So,
Yeah.
and this is
You
my
got
big one. Like
the
this one
old
is
big dog.
well,
Big dog.
it's 3 days and 32 slots a day available, and they're
That's
usually
crazy.
all filled.
Oh my
So I
God.
could see almost 100 dogs before the weekend's over. So I'm gonna be hurting a
Oh
little
my
next week, my
gosh.
poor little hands. But someone's got to pay for this life and my horse's feet and
That's so
supplements,
funny.
and
The dogs are paying for your horses.
that's kind of what's happening actually. Yeah. So well, and even my horse book, like my horse appointments, because of the travel I had to do this month, I am booking now end of April
Oh
for
wow.
horses. So like I need to close that. That's too long. I don't like having like that long of a wait for people. And that's
Mm.
for new clients. So um I need to figure that out. So I don't know how I'm going to do that with so many hours in the
There's always so
day.
much. It's so funny to me because I did the Lawrence Bryce ride as part of this like Ride IQ has a like 6 weeks to show fitness or show readiness that she put together, and I downloaded that. And in 6 weeks, I'm going to go to Kentucky. So I'm going to be home for 6 weeks, which is great, amazing. And then I'm going to Kentucky 3-day event. So I'll be gone for like 5 or 6 days. And so that's when he would be fit and ready, for a theoretical show. Not that I'm planning on doing any right now. And then, so he'll sit around for a week. and then I'll be home for a few days, and then I'm going away again for a week after, like, the following week. So it's like, and then okay, and then I'll start all over again, and then it'll be summer. So I just accomplished almost nothing, and it just always wraps in like that. I just have to accept that I like other things a little too much to have real goals other than incrementally be a slightly better horsewoman year over year.
I mean, that's why I pay Leanna money to ride my pony, because I need him to stay fit so he stays healthy.
Yeah.
But Delight stays fit by wrestling with Ferris all day. All they do is wrestle and rear and run and buck. And I was like checking his muscle tone the other day. He hasn't been ridden in exactly 1 year since last March.
Yeah.
He is so flipping fit. It's like he has abs. He's got a top line. He's got he's so gosh darn fit that my trainer was like, "Do you have a chain lead rope for him?" And I'm like, "What?" Like he's never needed a chain lead rope. And she was like, "Oh no, he's feeling cute lately. Like he's fit."
Wow.
And he's doing it himself. Like he's cross training.
I should get a bitchy mare to keep Ben busy.
Yeah, well, that's what they do. Ferris and Delight chase each other around. One instigates the other, and then they just flip. And it's all day, every day. So they're both fit. But then I'll get on Ferris, luckily, and he's so tired. So I'm like, oh, today's a spur and stick ride. Okay. I'm thinking he's going to be so wild, and he's just like, ugh.
And running around all night. You have no idea.
But one of the things I think everyone is resigned to is the fact that I work so much to afford my horses that I will very rarely get there.
Yeah.
That will change. Cameron will be driving in 1.5 years, and she has graciously offered / been told that she will be driving her sisters also.
Long-term goals, babe. It's all about the long-term goals and everything we do.
But that'll only last for like 1 year, and then I have to wait, because once Cameron goes to college, there will be 6 months where I have to drive the twins. I'm just hoping they have enough friends they could carpool, okay? Because
Yeah, come on.
I can't have a taste of it and then gonna take it away.
Just get them a Lyft account.
You know what time it is? It is adulting wins time.
Adulting wins.
I know.
I went to the gym 3 times this week.
That's pretty great.
3 times, including today.
That's pretty huge. Yeah. You look fit. I can see.
I'm not
you look fit.
But I do have more energy. And it's weird because I haven't been sleeping at all since I got back from Disney, because I got a taste of staying up till 2 a.m., which I love. And my body's like, hell yeah, we stay up till 2 a.m. I'm like, no, you really can't. I haven't readjusted. That sucks. But still wildly energetic. So
I see that. And I enjoy it.
Yeah. I should be asleep right now.
I really honestly take a nap around this time.
Yeah, I would have. Corey's asleep. That's why I'm in here.
Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I'm supposed to be going to the barn for my lesson, because I ride once a week at a lesson. Yeah. And instead, my daughter reminded me that there is a musical at the high school that we're supposed to be watching.
Who cares?
So I've got to do that with the family instead.
What? Why? Are your kids in it?
No.
You don't have to
but
go.
The band, she's in the band, and the band is playing in it. So there is that. Also, I will be working
children
all
are frustrating.
I'm trying to. It's really hard juggling being a parent, and they're all fighting over who gets to spend time with me individually, which means that I have no time at all.
Yeah.
But I will say I do have an adulting win of the week, regardless. Okay. And that is, I got my second blood test results back after being on medication for over a month. Mm-hmm. And things are improving. Ooh. So it's all worth it so far.
Good.
Yeah, which is great. And also the reason I didn't drink a lot while I was in Vegas, because I knew I was getting the blood work. So the test results came back really good. And so I'm happy. I feel like that's a relief. I'm not freaking out that I'm going to die imminently anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, and just, I mean, because you were there for my spiral when I was on the cruise. So,
and is the restrictive diet getting a little easier to manage?
yeah,
Like,
totally.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been going out to eat, and like while I was away, and I was able to really it was easy to pick the healthier choices. Because I found I really didn't want the other stuff. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
find
so
that a
that was
lot
great.
too.
Yeah, so my insulin is gone. I mean, I'm still insulin resistant, but my insulin levels have normalized. They're lower than they were. I'm no longer in the pre-diabetic range.
Oh,
So
that's good.
that's
Nobody
really
wants that.
good. And so like
Yeah.
my dehydration is changed. I'm now not dehydrated. I have a whole bunch of good things, I still have only lost 4 pounds, but it's 4 pounds I didn't lose over the last 6 years. So there you go.
Yeah. That'll be me in 6 months coming home from the gym like, I lost 4 pounds at last. Being in the 40s
It takes
is
a
the
while.
best. It's the best.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, the muscle tone is really what gets you, because we can lose fat and water retention, but the muscle weighs so much more. So it'll be a while, but you'll feel it. You'll feel it before you see it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're adults. Look at us adulting.
Adulting sucks.
Yeah.